Has this ever happened to you? Today I'm going to show you how to take one of these damaged bags and replace it with a brand new one, so let's get into it. First off, I want to show you a few of the tools that we're going to be using today that will be super helpful in making sure this bag replacement goes smoothly. Depending on the air suspension that you have, you may need an Allen to hold the strut rod in place. Next up, to remove the locking nut, you are going to need some form of wrench and socket. In our case, we're using a crescent wrench, which is going to be the easiest option. Next up, this is going to be a really cool tool that's going to be super handy if you just don't have the hand strength to unscrew the bag. This is going to be an oil filter removal tool. The first thing that we're going to start with is the damping knob. So we're going to unscrew that. All right, next up, we're going to remove the locking nut. To do so, we're going to use the crescent wrench along with an Allen. Now we can remove the top hat. And now we're ready to remove the bag. If you're doing this at home, you either want to use a friend, or if you have access to a vise, you're gonna wanna use that. If you're like me and you don't have friends, I'm gonna use the vise method. So let's go show you how to do that. So here we are over at the vise, and I wanna show you how to use the oil filter removal tool. Simply wrap it around the bag, get it nice and snug, and then we're gonna just use it to get ourselves extra leverage and break the bag free. Now keep in mind when you're doing this that there is Loctite in the threads, so it is gonna be pretty difficult the first time when you're removing it. Don't worry, just keep going, keep fighting it, you're gonna get there. However, if your bagged car has tons of internet clout and you got a lot of friends, you're gonna do it just like this. There we go. Doesn't this look like fun? And just like that, we have removed the damaged bag. All right, now that we've disassembled, it's time to reassemble. Step one is gonna be taking the replacement bag and placing it back over the shock. Now when doing this, do be careful of the threaded portions and avoid scraping them against the O-rings on the inside of the bag. Now we're gonna thread the bag down onto the strut. Now if you're wondering how far to thread the bag down, when you took off the old bag, it would have left a marking where it was. Make sure to thread it down all the way to that same point. Just remember, there isn't really such thing as too tight, because if it's loose and falls apart, that's gonna be a lot worse. Next up, we're gonna reassemble the top hat using the spacers. Make sure you remember the orientation they came in. We're gonna place the top hat back onto the strut. And then we're gonna add the locking nut. And finally, replace the damping knob. And now you have successfully replaced a damaged bag. To go get yourself a replacement bag, head over to bagriders.com, your one-stop drop shop. Has this ever happened to you? Controlled voice cracks only. Billy Mays here. Has this ever happened to you? Gotta get suited up, baby.